cash.
Ikafumi mfane mortgage ka domoni ninjo katafu kariworo ibo wafila $250,000. Kairosu Properties and Investment Limited ibal contender sunkarula. Kairosu Properties. Link us and we make you a home builder.
Back to another edition of the Gambian Talents Forum. We are live and direct here with Alhaji MC Cham in his house in Banjul. Today we will talk to him about the TRRC. He was one of the people that testified at the TRRC. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good.
How are you?
Fine.
You appeared before the TRRC earlier this year and explained your order with the former regime. The people who committed those serious crimes against your personal has publicly appeared and apologized to you and everyone they did offended. Did you wet their testimonies?
To some extent, yes. Not always. Mm-hmm. I've not had everyone, but I have had some.
How about the people that have tortured, that have did so much bad to you? Did you watch their testimony whilst they were explaining?
Nobody came forward to say that he took part in my torture.
Do you recognize anybody before?
Oh yes, I knew them. Some are not around. Some are around.
Some are not around.
No, but really at the time I knew some of them just at the time while I was there. It was through the help of some of our colleagues like OJ, who comes from this area. He knew most of them more than some of us. And so those that we knew the names of, that's how we knew them. But as I say, none of those have mentioned the tortures meted out to former leaders, politicians, ministers, men and women at the early stage.
But have you seen the people that have tortured you?
Appear before the commission?
Yes.
Oh, I can't. I'm sure they're there because they mentioned us. Some of them mentioned us. I knew then they were there. There were one or two who mentioned us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they have come publicly to apologize. Have you forgiven them?
No.
Why?
Simple logic. If I do you something very evil, as a result you lose your property, you get injuries, and you got deprived a lot of freedom for over a year, plus sleeping on raw concrete and a lot of things, mosquitoes, cockroaches, rats and everything. Somebody will just appear after Yaya Jammeh has run away and say, I was forced to do this, but I'm sorry. And you say, yes, I'm sorry. I'm not part of that metal. I think reparation should have gone alongside forgiving, but just to start with the tail and leave the head, I don't seem to understand that. But I am following so far. Nothing has been reported. Commission has not submitted their report yet, and I think it's very premature to start asking people, have you forgiven them? Matured people, adults, sober, you go and join junglers, go and hold him, beat him up, kill him, torch his house, do a lot of things to him, detain him, bury him half alive, beat him up, do this. And you just say that, and they say, oh yes, there's a join a safufu. Naiko balal, so I can say, I like the floor or sapa or your sapapa. Putting the cart before the horse. Reparation doing over. Let us have the sequence in order, correct. This is not amateur play acting. This is a matter of life and death, property, and all the values and everything that somebody longs for in life wants. People will come and smash that, including your life, your personality, your body. I mean, this is terrible. You know, now talking about things after it has passed, it's much easier. That is why in the commission, when some of these things are narrated, people break down. And that is not even addressed. The matter is not even conclusive. People who are not affected upon themselves as the judges and the chief advisor. Oh, yes, really. After all, yes, he has apologized. A thief who broke into your house, they go and find your stolen property there. You say, Balal Nako, that will free him from the law. This cocaine that they just discovered recently, these people they have arrested, Lebanese, Mauritanians, whatever, they could let them just go and say, I'm sorry. You buy it. I mean, you see, Gambia, we are overwhelmed or drunk with this sort of newfound democracy, to the extent that everybody is self-appointing himself as the Alpha Omega. I mean, that is not correct. Let us allow these people to do their thing, and let us not just be, we seem to be too in a much hurry to just make statements for the press and to say that he said this. My friend, people who suffer there, you go and start putting microphone in their mouths. You have heard what he said, yes. Now what do you say? You forgive him? Ah, no. That is not the approach. I think the citizenry should be protected from these mercenary elements of opinion leaders and pseudo ignoramuses.
How did you feel watching the person who put you and your colleagues through so much pain, taking responsibility in explaining what they did to you?
How do I feel? Of course, I feel terrible. I'll feel powerless. Otherwise, I would have retaliated. Yeah, eye for an eye, too much evasive, to say the least. But I have not been following much on the television. I've been there a couple of times, but because of my preoccupation, I have not. But I read the papers. I get a gist of it in the papers. But I certainly do not hold the view that even before the end of the commissions, even before the report, people will start wooing people, canvassing them, forgive them. They have said, now the door is open. After this case, we may have other cases. Well, whatever you do, so you just go and say, I regret, I'm sorry. I didn't have food, that's why I stabbed him to have his meal. I didn't have this, that's why I did that. I'm very sorry, and that's all fine. Anybody with his grey matter correct in his head will not think like that. You don't jump the gun. You don't do that. It's not safe. This matter is put in the responsibility of very eminent, responsible people, legally and otherwise. They are doing very well. So far, I have not had any criticism about the TRRC. Mm-hmm. So let us leave them to do their work. Let us not preempt them. Let us not try to sway their minds or judgments through false opinions, opinion based on what? The TRRC people, everybody has their dossier, that is their experience in life. That is what matters. You don't learn experience in university or schools. You go through it. In addition to what you have bagged, you have to go through experience. Then you may be a better judge. You can be a better judge. But you just sit down somewhere and just probably say, oh yes, after all, he has apologized. Apologize, you kill somebody, you rape them, you maim them, you destroy their property, you destroy their lives, and just upon saying, I'm sorry, okay, case closed. Let's go to another.
That's quite interesting. We still go to Sana Sabally. Sana Sabally, who bore the greatest burden on up to his deeds. Have you forgiven Sana Sabally? Why and why not will you forgive him?
My role does not involve forgiving anyone. That is left to those whose role it is. As far as I'm concerned, what they have done to Sana is terrible. But I think, to be fair, you have to weigh the two. A coin has two sides. You just don't look at one side and conclude. First of all, I don't want to refer to Sana personally, but I'm making a general statement. To tackle this matter is not enough just to say he has apologized, he is in a sorry state. That is not the issue. The question is, whoever's responsibility is going to be to advise on these matters should bear two things in mind. The circumstances of the doer, of the criminal, his entire circumstances should be looked at. His position, his power, his influence, everything about him at that time of committing the crime. You contrast that against his uselessness, his helplessness, his desperation, the situation he is now. You compare. Then that's the time you will be able to determine that man. If you find me a mediocre and I'm very nice with you, a poor man nice with you, tomorrow if I have something, I will be more nicer to you. But if I am privileged, I have everything to my command. I can do things good or bad, no challenge. And I happen to do the bad things. When time goes until I am desperate, I have fallen down to the lowest. I don't have anything. I don't have anywhere to hide. I have no shelter anywhere. I have nothing. What I say there is different from what I have done. Because what could he say? To say, yes, I did it beautifully. I thought he was corrupt because they said our government was corrupt. That's why I killed him. I thought he was supposed to say that, like, one can understand. But while they were doing these crimes, they fully well knew this prosecutor, the lead counsel, is first class. Yesterday I watched his program of this funny witness on 2 occasions, News Time and at the last edition. The man was so hopelessly evasive, as if he doesn't know what the questions were. Because he doesn't want to say the truth. Simple. You forgive that man? Mm-hmm. He has not even accepted the facts. And then people will say, look, those clamoring for forgiveness, I would have loved to hear their relationship with the aggrieved or the killed. If I knew their relationship, I mean blood relationship or social relationship, how close were they? What was the sort of relationship between them and the victims? If they say forgive, I will want to listen to their argument. But Samba Sulabari over there come and say, I will not listen to that. Not that I am affected or I was affected, no. I'm just trying to be rational according to my own way of thinking.
Yes, last week the Attorney General announces that he was considering to release the junglers who appeared before the TRRC and spoke the truth. Do you think this is a good idea?
Well, I'm not Attorney General. Attorney General has got his job. This is part of his responsibility. I will not want to encroach on his right to decide. He is government's chief legal advisor. I mean, he knows best. And apart from that, from the investigative part of things, a lot of things go behind the scene to evoke or to bring out a lot more of these junglers. What expertise have people got to criticize him, saying we are releasing on bail 2 or 3 or even all of them? everything dafa am strategy. America, they compromise murderers. In UK, I can name you some cases in the drug world. You do this for 2 or 3, you put in the net about 300 or 200. Without doing that, look at why are people sacrificing? You sacrifice to gain. No more sacrifice. So let us leave these people to do their work for heaven's sake and not interfere when our knowledge can be easily contained in a groundnut shell.
But don't you think, if at all somebody just happened to testify at the TRRC and said, I have killed more than 45 people, and you want to release the person
Nobody
free?
said he has killed more than 45.
Yes, someone testified.
No. He took part.
Yes.
Yes, it doesn't mean that he killed 45 people.
Yes, but for instance, you took part in killing 45 people. You know, don't you think other people will also believe, okay, let me do this, and then the next minute I will be also free?
The whole problem is that because Attorney General is an official. What about these people saying that they all should be forgiven? These people in the internet who even are not related, don't know, even are not even here, sending internet saying. But because this man is answerable, he is part of governance in this country. Therefore, anybody who is Gambian, whatever you say, somebody will contradict. It's becoming a Gambian trait now. That whatever you say in authority, or because of experience, somebody down the line who is not, who's never been mentioned in dispatch, sort of, we want to gainsay that, just to be, to gain a little, to rub off a bit of your prominence. Oh, President just said this. Oh yes, MC Cham said opposite. So his name will carry me. I think really they should not interfere with. Let them wait until decisions are made, and then whoever has a legitimate point, you can take it up, criticize, or provide an alternative according to what you feel. That doesn't mean that you will get your way, but you'll get your say.
Yes, some victim families are demanding justice before reconciliation. Is that your opinion too?
I have said it earlier. I have said that. I say reparation should come first. Mm-hmm. Because it has to be measured. Of course, you cannot pay for somebody's life in terms of dollars and burut. Somebody's house knocked out, burned down, what have you. His limbs cut off, paralyzed. These are terrible things. But there is a formula where it's not supposed to give you 100%, but it can give you maybe between 5 to 10%, 20%. After all, you're not taking the money from the idiots, the co-perpetrators. The money is coming from local funds, international funds, but care of government. And government has so many priorities, so much to do, that we cannot just say when we have $1 billion for reparation, we should give $1 billion. Because water on the ground, you cannot, as the local saying goes, you cannot do much of it, except if it is wet enough, you may mold blocks or all the other moldings out. Mm-hmm. It's waste. So it's not a question of saying I require 100,000 to compensate for my left eye. No. The people who are in governance at the time and those whom they select, appoint or whatever, in these various areas, let us allow them chance to go through this thing quietly in their own time and to give advice. After all, TRRC cannot impose anything. They will make a report, they will make recommendations, but they cannot enforce anything. But once they do that, the government, those who matter, will take it up from there and see what is reasonable. We are very fortunate in one respect in the Gambia, that we are a small community. So I have no doubt in my mind, whichever government is here, they will be very reasonable. Because nobody will want to deny anybody anything after going to church. But then it has to be within reason and within limits. Balangani nam dang fa neka.
Do you think the TRRC is a witch hunt by former president or APRC leadership?
Who says so?
Do you agree, or do you think?
No, it's not a question. It's not in contention that the TRC is absolute. Who's contending that? We don't know. TRC did not suffer anything. These people in the TRC, none of them suffered the cruelty and the bad handling of Yaya Jammeh's government. None of them. So they were never affected directly. So why should anybody think about that? Why? Which hunt? Who are they hunting? A criminal? People go and hunt animals to eat. But these are human beings. Nobody goes to hunt them.
A lot of people also say, recently the Justice Minister ordered the release of 3 junglers, and a lot of people are saying if they are to do that, they should also allow Jammeh to come back to Gambia.
Who is stopping Jammeh from coming back to Gambia? That's news. Who told you that Jammeh is they're refusing? Let him come. Then there will be no problem. You know as well as I do that efforts are right now on the way to have him extradited. Extradition doesn't mean voluntary coming. It means forceful, handcuffs included on board the plane, flown back to your country. Let him come. Then the international community and the government will be very pleased. So welcome him back. Let him come. Let him come. That's not an issue.
If he come, what will happen?
Justice will happen.
But if they are to release the 3 junglers, don't you think they would also release them?
You equate jungler, multiply the junglers by 10. Is that equal to Yaya Jammeh?
So are you telling me Jammeh is the problem for Gambia and not the junglers?
Who else? Who gave orders? Who else? Somebody saying Jammeh never said that. People who say that the president did not know what was happening are indicting him more than those who are accusing him. Because if you will be a president of a country, people disappear, they kill them, do all with what was happening, and they say you did not know. Are you fit to be there? That saying that agreeing to the no, they were not released. They are on bail. They are released on bail. They are not free to go. I hope you know that. Let's correct that. That is my understanding. And since I was not a party to the reason, and I am not placed in charge to play any role in this, I respect their decision 100%. I have held responsibility. I know responsibility is collective and should be impartial. And you cannot blame one man for one thing. The head always takes most of the blame, but those below too are part of it, because you can disagree. So that I support the Attorney General's move 1,000%. I would love to hear somebody who has equal knowledge or more knowledge than him to tell me why I should not support the move of the Attorney General. You know, you hear about plea bargaining. You've heard about that. You lived in America, you know that. Arch criminals are given plea bargains, you know that, so that they can net in 100 times more criminals. It's a form of handling matters, form of management. A government is managing lives and property. So they cannot just be like any street walker, arriving at a funny judgment, funny decision. They know their decisions, they will account for them. So they will not take stupid and silly decisions. They won't do that. I support the Attorney General's move 1,000%.
So what advice do you have for the general public pertaining to the TRRC?
The general public should be fair and should be understanding. I'm not saying sympathetic, but should be very understanding to the TRRC. How many of these critics, first of all, would have agreed to be a member of the TRRC? And if they agree to be a member, how many would have been brave enough, intelligent enough to navigate witnesses the way we have seen, all of us, the entire world, have seen this Cham, you cannot question these legal people on any point the way they have been handling these matters. They have been very understanding, very compromising, very lenient, very open. And the best thing about them is that they give you full assurance. And you have liberty to say what you want or to say what you don't want, to agree or disagree. If this was in court, it would not take this long, especially with the witness yesterday. It would have concluded under 10 minutes. See, let us really, we are just coming out of 20 years of terrible rule. Let us really try to reorient our talent, our faculties, mental faculties, and the advice we are giving to people to be more understanding and more tolerant. We who are calling ourselves opinion leaders, or you are taking us as opinion leaders, we are the first to cultivate that ideology, to be more reasonable, more understanding, more tolerant, and not to jump into rough conclusions, untested. I think that's what I would advise. I think we should salute the efforts of the TRRC 100%.
jamono ji ñu ngi gis ñu bari ñu ngi génn ci TRRC bi di wax ne maanaam victims di wax ne ñoom baalalun ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo leen def yu ñaaw maanaam jonglas yi nga xam ne ñoom leen riis yow di nga baalal képp koo xam ne def na loolu bon.
loolu suma business la waaye baalale bii dañ xam nañu wax dëgg one offense bi lañ def au crime bi lañu def dañ ko def nit ki ñu def ko yàlla ñu def ko njobooti nit ñi ak mbokkaam. 3 ñetti offense ñetti crime lañu def ñetta def nañ crime against nit ki ñu dal rey or whatever, def nañ crime against njobootam mbokkaam, def nañ crime against yàlla mooy humanity. So who are you or me pour wax ne baalal nañ ko yëpp? mbokk yi mun nañ ko wax baalal, yàlla du ko baalal. nguur gi mun ñi nga xam ne ñoo amee yëf yi mun nañoo wax ne lii soo ko bàyyee ëllëg dafa amaat. punitive pour di nit di sofa pour lu bon loolu ci yàlla la njëkkee. def na ko yonent yi, def na ko saxaaba yi, def na ko kii naka zaati Jona ci christian ci Jona lañ ko wax, Yunus ci ñun. wéel bi won na ko because yàlla ko ne demal waari pirijal ñale mu daw mu dugga ci gaal gi suuf moom rek gaal gi yëngatu bu lifin ñu ne am na kenn time boobu aduna dafa jub ñu ne am na kenn koo xam ne deful lu baax moom mu wax dëgg ñu sànni ko wéel bi jël ko 40 days. so li ma wax mooy yàlla ci boppam daf day apply punitive measures dinay def rewards te ñun la yàlla bàyyi ci aduna bi fii pour ñu replace ko. ñun suñu waxee duñ toppal loolu du ñoo def.
so maanaam yow baalal lawuloo.
man dama war a ki ma yow ban right nga am pour wax ma baalal ni yow da nga ma tooñ. is their business is it their business to ask the victims pour baale ki nga xam ne moo victime bi ñoo war a wax.
so yow ku ñëwoon sa kër looy def ak moom.
loolu suñu mu ngi des ci man su ñëwee ñu review li ma def ma laaj ko ay questions. because mandiwuloo jinne jàpp la dofuloo nga ñëw yow xam nga loi bi li mu wax nga ñëw ci man guddi nga konkongal génnee ma takama ci suma kanam yow yóbbu ma dóor ma gaañ ma wala ree ma te dofuloo jinne jàpp la dara jotu la te yow ñoom ñëpp wax nañ ne xam nañ ne Yaya Jammeh loo sim leen doon wax lim leen doon sant du dëgg. gis nga man foog naa TRRC bi dafa am ñu fa nekka ñoo xam ne seen yëf neexul ñiy laajte nii waaye ñiy laajte nii insignificant minority lañ doesn't count waaye ku tooñ nit ci moom ngaa dem baalu soo demee ci loi bi government amul benn right pour baalal ñi niñ tooñ ñoo dee baale su la nit sàccee wala mu gaañ la police daf ko yóbbu ko police musa baalal nit duñ baalal yow yaa mun a baalale nit ki gaañ kiñ tooñ moo war a baalale waaw